Yeah, not very successfully.
Oh, yeah.
So my name's Darren Burton. I'm Operations Director here at Mercedes in Brackley. I've been with the company around 22 years. I started off as a mechanic. I joined as a mechanic 22 years ago, trackside, and I've been in the role of Operations Director for the last 5 years or so.
And we are lucky enough to have you as our tour guide today.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many departments are there in a factory?
So there's a number of different areas in the factory, and we're split into different sections, if you like. Mm-hmm. So we're outside composite manufacturing at the moment, and that's split into a laminating area and a trim area, such as the primary areas. We've got other support areas on site as well, supporting composites, for example, machining. Mm-hmm. But where we are in the factory at the moment is outside the clean area, the laminating area. So within my areas of responsibility, I look after program management, which is planning, purchasing, got logistics, machine shop inspection, main inspection, stores, and all the build areas as well. So gearbox build, engine systems, and sub-assembly.
So what's going on in here? What can you show us?
So here are our autoclaves. So a key part of the composite infrastructure we have and equipment. So these are in use pretty much around the clock in the manufacture of composite components. We'll manufacture from chassis and floors and to suspension components. So a real range of size and complexity.
Mm-hmm. What does the clean room mean, actually?
So as a clean room, so the clean room behind us here is literally a clean environment. So we have an airlock, and it's a controlled area. So we try and keep risk of contaminants or particles outside of that area, so that we can guarantee the integrity of components being manufactured.
White lab coats, looks serious.
It's all serious.
Where can we go now?
So if we continue our walk through the factory, so we'll go past the clean environment, and we'll go towards the composite trim area, which is the second part of the composite process, if you like. Mm-hmm. And this is where the components are trimmed. It's a more dirty environment, shall we say?
Nothing is dirty here.
No.
I've been around.
It's all relative.
This is the part where we are blind for a second.
Yeah,
there are floors.
There's some things we can't look at in there, but in this environment, these are where components will be. The various different composite elements will come together, be bonded together, and then and trimmed to fit, if you like. It's part of a complicated engineering jigsaw puzzle.
And this is the inspection department, right?
So this is main inspection, yes. So within main inspection, we've got a range of equipment, coordinate measuring machines, scanning arms, various different gauges, a real range of equipment to validate the components that come in from the outside world. So these predominantly are the parts in this area are parts that we source externally.
So every bolt that's mounted into a car, it's checked here?
Yep, yeah, literally.
Whoa.
So in excess of 1 million components across a year.
Million components?
Yeah.
Wow. And what do we have here?
So these are our race phase. So we've just missed the debrief for Silverstone. So all of the factory will come together, and there'll be a review of the weekend. So
some old chassis we can see here?
Yeah,
yep.
So it's very much a working environment, as you'll see for all of the areas we go through. So yeah, there are various different chassis around and various different cars in different stages of assembly. Yes. And then the next area I think we're going to go to is our machine shop.
How many machines do you have here? Oh,
Okay, so these are our build workshops that we're walking past now. So the other side of the race base to where we were a minute ago. Within these workshops, we'll build and service the gearbox, the hydraulics, fuel system, and other mechanical assemblies on the car. So whether it's the steering assemblies or the front or rear corners, uprights, axle assemblies, that's what takes place in these areas. The corridor at the moment, as you can probably see behind us, is somewhat cluttered. That's because the race team were back from Silverstone last night and this morning, and so the trucks have been unloaded, and we're into the turnaround now ahead of Budapest.
Does the factory work 24/7?
It works. We have a night shift working Monday to Thursday night. So
Whoa.
we don't necessarily work, not all areas work around the clock through the weekend. Some areas do, and then we tend to work additional hours as required. We have a very flexible workforce.
Now, a buzzing sound, it means we're entering a very important place.
So this is our main machine shop. I can give you an example of some of the components that we manufacture on the car. But this is one of the areas we work a multiple shift system. So we have people working core hours, but we also work a rotating early-late shift, a weekend shift, and a night shift as well.
How many machines do you have here?
We've got 27 machines.
How does it compare to Brixworth?
Much smaller. We're much smaller.
Still, it looks quite big.
Yeah. We've had a lot of investment over the years, over recent years. But yeah, we are smaller than Brixworth.
Lovely display here.
So this is just an example of some of the components that we manufacture. So we have a range of axles that we've made over the years, some gearbox front plate, some uprights that we've manufactured over the years, various different manifolds, wheel nuts,
and different materials as well, right? Can you explain the differences?
So we work with a range of aerospace grade materials, so titanium, for example, stainless steel, aluminium, 7000 series, 2000 series materials. So yeah, quite a broad range of materials, and we make quite a broad range of components. Some turned components and some milled components. We also fabricate as well, as you can see with the coolers we have.
Can I touch this?
Yeah, of course.
Wheel.
So this is a wheel nut, or forging of a wheel nut. So
This one is quite heavy, I must tell you.
So that's how it starts its life, and then that's how it finishes. So initially we made it's aluminium, and originally we made them from a solid billet. But it's quite a lot of time and it's quite a lot of waste to do that. So we moved across to forgings. So we buy a lot of forgings and then we machine them down. It takes about an hour to turn from a forging to the finished wheel nut.
So can you explain, based on a wheel nut, how you try to optimize the process every step of the way? Because it's not only about the weight, it's also about the time that's required to produce such part.
Yeah, so it's very much from an design engineering perspective. The designers will optimize what they want out of the component, and then it hands over to the guys in the machine shop in this case to see how can we manufacture it, and that applies internally or outside in the supply chain.
So what are the gains, actual gains?
The big gain from using this method, from producing the finished component from forging, is that you've already got a head start. It already resembles a wheel nut, so some of the machine time is taken out of it. So as I say, a finished component would take us about an hour. Prior to that, that could be up to sort of 7 hours, 8 hours, which over the amount of wheel nuts we manufacture for the year adds up.
So how many wheel nuts you manufacture through the year?
In excess of 1,000.
That's a lot of time saved.
It is, yeah.
Perfect. I think we explained that every detail matters.
It does, yeah, absolutely.
Where can we go now? To the materials or somewhere? here?
So we can look at so here is more shelving and just more material stock. You can see that if you'd like to see that, or if not, we can walk down
Jak
through.
coś, zrób przebitki po prostu tych tam, wiesz, magnesium, titanium, aluminium. And then we will walk.
If we walk down this path.
Yeah.
There's like 5 minutes left because you have Mike and 3 of
Yes. Let me just think. Okay.
Is that okay?
I think we're going to do walk now.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like, I'm doing a weekend, and I like him.
I think maybe.
He's like, please, no, no. That's the thing, when you do well, you know, that's when you start grabbing you all the time.
Okay, so continuing through our main machine shop. So this is now our main walkway through the department, and we've got, this is really where the sort of the central part through the machines are. So we've got our milling machines, which are these blue machines, and then we've also got a range of mill turn machines, which are these the white cream colour machines. We also have our inspection department, machine shop inspection, so it has its own dedicated inspection department. But this kind of gives you an idea of the range of machinery and capability we have here. So we've got, from a manufacturing perspective, a machining perspective, we can cover a broad range of components, some of which you've seen on our display. And in terms of manufacturing times, it depends, as we said, from a wheel nut, we can produce a wheel nut within around an hour. If we're producing an upright or an axle, that could take somewhere like 6 weeks to produce the first one, because the engineering time and the programming time and the whole setup and validation can take a long time. But once we've validated it and we've proved it out, we'd then be looking to do a set a week.
And for example, a floor?
A floor?
Yeah.
A floor would take a number of weeks to produce in the composite world, yes. So a floor is an interesting type of component because there's so many different elements to it. Whereas you start with the initial tooling, and then you then get into the molds and then into the actual laminate itself. But it has a lot of other components go into it. There's metallic components go into it, and various different other materials. So it really does come together as a bit of a jigsaw. Whereas in the machine shop world, it's really a case of you get a finished article from the machine.
Does it happen that you manufacture something last minute and you put it in your team member luggage or something like this? All the time.
All the time.
It's not an urban legend.
Every race.
Really?
Yeah, we're ready to react at every race, and quite a lot of the time we need to send something out. Not all the time maybe, but a lot of the time, yeah.
So what did you send lately? Maybe not to Silverstone, but maybe to a previous race.
Oh, you got me thinking now. We sent some hydraulic components recently. Yeah, but I think that was to Austria. We sent some hydraulic components out quite late, and we're now looking at what can we send out late to Budapest. How late can we get something out there?
Okay.
It's quite a drive for us, so we have to look at whether it's vans or flying. Depends on the size of what we're sending.
Thank you. Do we have time for something more? Well, not really. Okay.